So you ever walk into a store and you're running down the aisles, especially the cereal aisle, and you are trying to pick what the best one is? This, my friends, is the war on our health. What's good and what's bad? Which one are we going to choose? And that's what we're here to talk about today. How is the food marketing industry lying to us? I'm going to say this is probably going to be a big passionate thing of mine, but they're lying to us every single day. And they're not just lying to us, they're also lying to our children, right? Who are then wanting us to go buy all of this stuff, which is then leading to a downward spiral of why we're here to educate people on proper health and nutrition.
You know what I'm most impressed with is the amount of time and data and research that goes into marketing of the foods that sit in the grocery store, where they sit, where they place them, the ads on TV. There's so much work that goes into that to be able to try to get people to buy these things.
Oh God, yeah. And then they have this whole test trial too. So obviously, the biggest one I would say would be cereals, right? So let's maybe dive into the first, one of the many is, why is it that the cereal aisle is probably one of the most popular? Because it's the most colorful.
Yeah.
Right. I remember as a kid, there was 4 types. I mean, not even. There was maybe 2 types of Cheerios. It was Honey Nut and Original. Yeah. And now we've got cereals fortified with protein, cereals that are supposed to have real fruit,
real grains,
whole grains, heart healthy. I think in my master's,
low cholesterol.
But yes, you've got the bee. How does the bee lie to us? I mean, he's lying to you. I'm telling you that right now. Unless he's producing honey, we don't want to buy anything from him. So I think that's a big thing. And what we're doing is we're going to the store and we're buying these products that obviously have all of these taglines that we're watching on TV, that we think we're actually helping ourselves and or our families, do just a little bit better in health, when in actuality, it's a huge step down. So think about this, and this is what I talk about a lot with the clients I work with, is we have a fast when we sleep, correct? So we sleep, we wake up, that's our fasting period for most, unless we're doing an intermittent fasting, which is another topic. So when we're having that fast broken, most people will break their fast first thing in the morning and they're giving it to kids before school, and my clients are doing it before work. They're having a bowl of cereal with some form of milk or dairy alternative. Yeah. They're starting their day with 40 grams of sugar.
With the insulin bomb.
Oh, it's a total insulin bomb. And then they wonder why an hour later, because they'll communicate with me if we're on our program and they're like, I was hungry an hour later. Or if you take that cereal and you're adding a banana or blueberries or something like that, you just went from a 40 gram to
sugar.
You might as well just drink sugar.
Yeah.
Literally, that's where it's at. So I think we need to really stop using the media to drive how we're feeding our body.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 1, media, and 2, a lot of this could get avoided if people would learn food labels.
Yeah.
Don't take what you see as gospel. Whatever they market on front, I don't care, because I've seen things that look amazing and you're like, and then you look at the back and you're like, ugh, holy crap. I wouldn't give it to my kid.
Well, if I say to somebody, what is the serving size in the cereal? They'll say to me, I don't know. I'm like, well, it's on the back of this. Where?
2 bowls.
So, yeah, it's you just pour until it looks like it's full.
Yeah.
So yes, and not only just reading the ingredients, but we obviously want to read, not the labels, but we want to read the ingredients. There are so many hidden sugars in our cereal. It's an ultra processed food. Let's just throw it out there. It's an ultra processed food that will cause inflammation in your body, that will cause digestive issues, that will cause a major sugar spike and a sugar drop. Yep. So if you're giving this to a child before school, they're going to be great once they get to the door of school, but once they're in school, they're going to drop. So we don't want to do that. So I'm not against cereal, but could we use it maybe as a topping with some whole yogurt?
Right.
Could we balance it with something else? Because again, we talk about moderation and we talk about balance. So I think that we need to use it as a little something with something that's a little healthier.
Well, going back to just regular nutrition, you want to try to not completely exclude every area of the food groups, right? Or at least have a little bit of well-rounded protein, carbs, fat versus just straight carbohydrates.
Correct.
But it said had protein in there or added protein, and it's they get you with, it's whether it's dairy, gluten-free, what is it, vegan, low fat, those are all now the words that you see up front and you're like, oh, it has to be good because of that. But, still look at, don't just sit there and just go solely one macronutrient. I always say, unless it's protein. So,
Yes, you are my protein fan.
but
That's true. No, but it's true. I mean, I think that, look, I don't really consider cereal a food group. It's not. It's a whole separate thing on its own. So I think that I agree with you. Gluten-free is when gluten is taken out of a product, and that's usually from some source of a bread or a pasta. Or if, gluten-free cereal is going to have something else in it that's going to be just as detrimental, and it's probably going to be some form of a sugar. I think that so many of these food labels are so ultra processed that it's just killing our gut microbiome.
But you're saying though, if it was a gluten-free cereal versus a regular cereal, but they both had 40 grams of carbs, like they're basically the same.
It's honestly, it's all garbage.
But, that's the thing, is I think people see the word, but they don't look at it's macro for macro. And usually sometimes you might swap a better macro for a shittier macro or vice versa. You need to understand how to look at food labels.
Absolutely. And you need to understand food. So I would rather get a gluten-free steel cut oat or sprouted oat, which is actually more beneficial and is actually gluten-free, than buying a gluten-free cereal or gluten-free muffins or gluten-free breads that say it's a protein muffin, or that'll say it's all natural, made with real fruit, no artificial sweeteners. There's an artificial sweetener in it if it's in a bag.
And they're probably crushing it with saturated fats in there.
My God, I know.
Just from being processed.
I know. We have become, we've become a society that is living on ultra processed foods, and over 60%, if not more, because I'm reading this book called Good Energy by Dr. Casey Means.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. And she talks about the ultra processed world, and we are eating, we talk about, I said 60, but it's higher. That's our ultra processed diet. And then we're wondering why we're not losing weight. We're not sleeping, we don't have the energy that we had before, and why our brains are so fogged.
Yeah.
Like it's clogging our whole mitochondrial system.
Yeah. Well, if you want to function well, just like your car, if you just say you had a race car, you're not going to put crap gas in there.
No,
and
that's
it's the same thing as like everyone's just putting crap gas in their system and expecting it to fire and function properly. And like, good luck.
Don't be fast, be smart.
Yep.
So when it comes to food, don't just buy because it says it's there. Read. And I think that we're getting to the point now, I think, where people really do understand it. I just think we've become time is an issue for people. Lifestyle, like it's a high stress society that we still have right now. I think that it's easy to just grab something like that than it is to sit there and plan out, a whole balanced eggs, sprouted bread, the right types of jams or butters or what they may be. So I think that's another issue too. But this whole concept of food marketing and misunderstanding of labels is what is leading to diabetes. It's what's leading to more cravings for sugar, which is leading to, obviously it's an addiction.
Well, they're even trying to further now in the world of GLPs, right? Making foods even more palatable or more to where you crave more of those foods, like almost trying to combat against, a lot of people that are on GLPs that aren't wanting to eat much. So they're trying to kind of figure out a way, how can we get people to keep consuming?
Mm-hmm. Well, think about some of the commercials that are out there right now that are doing it. And these are the things that I get brought to my attention. So Gatorade is my number one. So obviously being in the fitness world, and I work with a bunch of the soccer clubs down here in Florida, it is hot. Gatorade should be maybe something that's in there, but maybe we mix it with water, right? And now we've got not just Gatorade, we've got G2, G0, G free. I have no idea. And people are drinking a whole one of those, maybe 2 a day. There's sucrose in there. There's fake sugar in the zeros. So we want to make sure that we're cutting some of that. Obviously, hydration's important. I understand that. There's so many other benefits and other ones that we could use.
Yeah.
But for the purpose of this talk, that's one that's a big one because we see the commercials. So obviously there's that. There's another one.
Yeah, but Michael Jordan used
yeah.
Gatorade, so it should be fine.
Well, yeah, if Michael Jordan did it, we should all do it, right? I don't think Michael Jordan's doing that now.
No.
But but it's true. But we eat with our eyes. Like if we see something, we crave it, and that's what happens. And it's just crazy. And like that's why you see the kids, playing their sports, but the kids afterwards sitting on a bench, like having a bowl of cereal. That's not why that kid ran like that.
Right.
And again, in talking to the kids that I talk to, it's about protein, right? It's about hitting your target calorie
Quality
number.
carbohydrates.
Quality carbohydrates. Exactly right.
Yeah, I just, I feel like it's harder than ever for people to try to somewhat be healthy, but I do feel like the world is starting to get a little bit more focused on it, which is good. So if you're going to focus on looking at the label to look for healthier things on the front, let's try to learn the backside. And like, once you understand that, you're going to be able to decipher good and bad or what's decent and not so decent, and it's like, it's not that hard. I think it's very kind of daunting for some people who don't know, but it's really understanding the simple things like protein, carbs, fat, where the source is coming from, calorically per serving, making sure you understand what the true serving, if it's only 60 calories per serving, but meanwhile your serving's like the smallest amount. So a normal person would consume 4 times that in a serving, that's where I think people get caught up. And it's just they take whatever for gospel on the front, look at the back, and they don't look at the detail of how much per serving. And then, when you get into ingredients, good practice, which we've said multiple times, is try to, the less ingredients, the better. If you can, it's really not that difficult. You just got to take a little more time. And that's the other thing too. Everyone's so rushed and so hurried, and they're running through the grocery store and they're just grabbing, and, that's where they get got.
No, I agree. And I think, you know what? If you talk about how the food industry is kind of like changing the way that we are living what could be a better, healthier lifestyle as far as the nutrition mindset goes, is it's no different than like big pharma.
Yep.
It's no different. I mean, they're skewing us. It's a little bit of a brainwash tactic because they're literally saying this product does this, no different than this drug does that. But I cannot put emphasis more on eat real food often. And does it require planning? Yes. Does it require, it is a little bit expensive to eat healthy. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it is super expensive to buy good, clean fish, and it is. But like you talk about, what's the long term?
You're going to spend now, you're going to spend later.
Spend now or spend later. So I think that it's important to obviously read the back of the box before you look at, maybe you look at the front of the box, but before you make the final decision, first of all, the final decision in my viewpoint, guys, it would be anything in a box, just don't buy. Unless it's maybe some pasta, and if you are, maybe you buy like chickpea pasta or something that's a little bit more healthier. But I'm just seeing too many boxed products go into people's bodies that are just leading to such poor health outcomes, and I know we can change that.
Even in the, let's say, the supplemental nutrition world, as far as when it comes to like protein bars, protein cookies, you know, I actually did a thing on like Lenny and Larry's. It's like they market it gluten-free or blah, 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 and X amount of vitamins. And then you look at the back and you look at the serving, and the serving, like if you were to eat that whole cookie, which is not that big,
right,
you could eat so much more and have so much better quality food. So it's like, even it sucks because if you're not educated on that world, like you go through the health food aisle or the health supplement aisle, it's like there's tons of stuff out there that say it has protein. Well, what's the quality of the protein? Or, hey, it's gluten-free, but when you look at it, it's still a sugar bomb. It's like even that stuff could be very deceiving to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so the only way you're going to know is to know food labels.
Oh, I go into Sprouts. Hi, Sprouts. I love you. I go to Sprouts all the time.
You should get a sponsor. We should get Sprouts to sponsor
come on.
you.
I'm in there all the time. But when I go in there, I always like to look at the cleaner bars for sure, because with my schedule, it's really busy. The people that I work with, their schedules are busy. But can I tell you how many bars that I look at the front of the label and they say exactly what we're talking about, and I flip it over and there's 20 ingredients, and like the first five, I'm like, there's just absolutely no way. And it is hard. Bars are hard. Protein powders are hard. Already made shakes are hard.
Yep.
It's hard in general. That's why we're here to talk about, how to not get hooked into all of this cheap alternative fake ingredient stuff and buy, as much real food, as you can, for sure.
Well, and I would say, like, for weight management, if you're really trying to watch, like, it's going to come down to calories, but internally, what is happening, you might be to your weight, but your body composition isn't going to be that great. Or even if your body composition is good, you could still have some of these things and you're going to end up messing up your cholesterol. You're going to see, blood sugar be out of control. It's like, it's frustrating for me. Like, I try not to, I used to love looking at, like, through the food aisles and the food labels. And now I kind of stick to what I already know and try to go mostly like whole food, less processed stuff as possible. It just cuts a lot of the crap out.
I like to look in the labels. I'm a supermarket like a
You spend a
stalker.
lot of time there.
I love to see what's new because this way I want to be able to, like, one, if I could try it, I'll try it. And two, I like to be able to recommend it. And I think that, I think we've got to, like, know a little bit more about, where we're going with our foods. And I think that, I don't know. I'm such a huge, like, fan of the whole real food concept. And I think that I'm seeing so many people. I just finished working and I'm still working with this individual now. Most of the food was processed. We took out all of this stuff. Like, any one of these words that was around, we did not put into the food plan. And they dropped literally the first 2 weeks, 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Bloat, inflammation, garbage, and they had energy, their skin cleared. They went to the doctor after 2 or 3 months of us working together, blood pressure medication reduction, cholesterol medication reduction, because we don't really need, if we're eating well, a lot of that stuff we can start to omit. So to your point, yes, like, this is where all of that comes together.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's hard, and I feel bad for a lot of people that are just either on a budget or they're trying to they don't have the time to really do their research or look or spend the time. I mean, big food industry, it's like they want you to consume and they want it to taste good. They want you to keep consuming. So it's like, there's so many ploys, whether it be psychological or internal, of what's going in there to keep you addicted to it. And, you could go, I'm not going to be the guy that goes down the rabbit hole, but it's like, it's funny when you see some of the companies and the corporations that are tied in, whether it be through big food, big pharma, it's like this ecosystem of sick, right? So just be a little bit more kind of health conscious, kind of take it into your own hands. Just take a little extra time to look and really do your research.
Think about it. I like that. Do your research in advance. I always tell the clients, maybe you put together a grocery list. Put together a list prior to going to the store, because I think this is where we're getting tripped up.
Don't go hungry.
Don't go hungry.
Trust me, I've done that before. And you're like,
I've been with people going to the grocery store that they're hungry. But don't go hungry, because you'll fall prey to not really thinking about what it is we're talking about right now. Yeah. The keywords, all of that. You're just gonna go in going like, well, what should I make? Have a plan every week of a potential. If there's a sports event going on, then maybe you pick up something that's easy to prepare, something from like frozen vegetables, chicken, some sweet potatoes, stick all of that, in a pot, microwave, go, or air fryer. So do something quick. Again, that's all about planning, and it's all about knowing what you want to do. So I have everybody make that list prior to going. And I think that's important.
Well, and if you plan, to your point, everyone says eating healthy is expensive, and it's true. Like, let's not talk about like long-term health. Like, there are alternatives to some of the stuff that you buy that you seem as cheap. Like, okay, let's talk kids. You talked about Gatorade or sports drinks. You could buy bottled water. I'm not going to tell you to buy glass or anything like that. But you could buy something so simple like noon tabs.
Yes.
And throw a noon tab and you get 10 tabs for a little
Yes.
cylinder. When you break down the cost, it's way cheaper than the Gatorade that you bought.
Yeah.
And it, some people are like, yeah, but it don't taste as good. But it doesn't taste bad.
No.
You'll save so much more money.
No.
And you're going to give your kids something way better that's going to help them perform better and not crash and be able to take the time, do your research. There's tons of cool things that you could do to just really cut the cost down.
Yeah. And, as far as that, like what's going on, the healthy food, a lot of people shy away because they're like, oh, it just doesn't taste good. I think what has happened too is because we've fallen into such an ultra processed society, and it's to no fault to what's been going on in the world. We've got all of this, again, we talk about the stresses and stuff like that. What's easy, what's convenient. A lot of that stuff like alters your taste buds. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to break that addiction of what stuff tastes like. That's why I have clients that'll put a ton of salt on stuff. Yep. When we take that stuff out and we maybe change it with some different spices or something like that, does it taste great at the top? No, but once your body gets used to it, 21 days to form habits, it will get better.
And when you put it back in, you'll be like,
that's what happens. Yeah, when you take it out, like it's like gluten. When you take gluten out, I have clients that took gluten out, went to a restaurant, had a piece of bread, felt sick to their stomach. So it's all that.
That's actually amazing information if you're really trying to make a shift, and you could do it slowly over time. And it's hard because you can't swap for certain things. Like I'll just give you an example, like soda. If someone's drinking regular Coke, and I'm not a big fan of Diet Coke, but I am for like initially trying to switch up. You don't go to like Diet Coke. You might go to like another beverage that's maybe not Diet Coke that maybe is a little bit healthier.
Well, like they have this Poppy now, or this like this cola. I forget what it is. It's kind of like in the sparkling water brands. I can't remember, but a lot of the clients like this Poppy.
Yep.
And they make a cola, they make a root beer. I personally have not tried any of them because I'm not a big carbonated beverage person. But the clients that I have to wean it off have. And then what happens is after a couple of those, they're like, I really don't need this anymore.
Well, so that's one way you could shift for something similar but different. Mm-hmm. But I was going to say is like, give yourself 3 to 4 weeks, just really try to like buckle down.
Yes.
Get away from it and shift as much as you can right off the bat. And then when you do decide to put certain things back in, you'll be fine without it. Yep. You truly will. It's just, you got to get past that first 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable, but
But if you could do that, it's so much easier to start making better choices. It's a little more difficult, but like plan out the next 4-week change. And then after that, I promise you it'll be a lot better.
I agree. That's what I do with a lot of the people is it's the plan. It's all about the plan. You have to know what it is. I hate to use this all the time, but what's your goal? And if the goal is to be healthy and the goal is to like put quick, easy, meals on the table, just feel a little bit better every day, then you need to put the right, like you said, you talk about the gas in your car, you got to put the right food in your system.
You can't put a price tag on feeling good.
No,
and
you can't.
It's just, you got to get to that point where you see it. Yeah. And once you notice it, then you're going to want to keep doing more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think we got a lot of this topic. Anything else? I mean, I'm very passionate about this food label stuff. I think the big one is just, always don't take the front of what you see for gospel. And that's all foods. There are some good options out there. There are some really good. A lot of times you're not going to see them in the same aisle. Mm-hmm. You're going to see them in the health aisle. Yeah.
Usually the more natural aisle is where you're going to see. And that's a good place to start. Yes, will you spend a little bit more?
Right.
Probably. Mm-hmm. But I promise you'll spend less in the long run.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So I agree. Read the back of the box first. Stick with whole, real ingredients.
And your kids shouldn't be able to choose.
No, guys. You need to be the
character or athlete or a certain whatever that makes it look appealing.
Absolutely. I've said this in a couple of other talks that I've done outside is
Be a
parents are the parents are the ones that need to help with the education of nutrition. Kids just know what they see and what they hear from other peers. So we need to make sure that we bring that back full circle. And all right, so obviously, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. So keep it out of your body, keep your health high, and we will see you all again soon.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.